Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Well, we only have two things to cover in this particular video. One is what's happening with the Invictus games, the Invictus games, and the other one is there's going to be a royal tour, another royal tour, but it's going to be Charles and Camilla. So we're going to look at that real quick. Now, let me let you know that I've already done multiple videos on the Invictus games, and some of that information, it's hard to reproduce. So I clipped some of my old video footage and put it into this video so that you guys will have a full picture of what I'm talking about, okay? So just bear with me, and that's why it's a little choppy at the end. So let's just jump in and go, shall we? Let's go. FYI, the picture above is also Scotland. You know, the next time my husband and I make it to Europe, we said we're going to go to Italy, we're going to go to the UK. And then I said, let's go to Paris. I've never been there either, but I think I may have to divert to Scotland. I mean, the country's just beautiful. All right, now let's jump in and go. To start off, I just found this channel called Diamond Rose Royal Talk. Somebody linked her to me in Twitter. She did a very nice video on me welcoming me back to YouTube after my reinstatement. I watched her. She's brand new. She only has like 5 videos up, but she really seems to, she really seems to have a something. I noticed that she's like me. She gets right to the point. She says it. She doesn't drone on. I like it. So if you want to give her a listen, maybe possibly subscribe, go for it. All right, real quickly, one more thing I want to address. The Sussex Squad put out a video saying that Rainbow Radio and Barbara Sobel are Satanists. People, they're not Satanists. This is typical squad behavior. This is a woman who stands up for the rights of the LGBT community, and she's being attacked by the Sussex Squad. Don't step into that. You know what I'm saying? All right, now let's move on to our stories for today. A statement was put out that Charles and Camilla are going on tour. I could be wrong, but it seems like this particular statement that was put out is from one of the stops where they're going to be stopping. I think that's going to be fabulous. They're going to be making multiple stops. They're going to Canada in May. And while they're there, they're going to be in Newfoundland, Labrador, I hope I'm saying that correct, Ottawa, and a place called Yellowknife. How cool is that? I'll be on the lookout for that tour for sure. Now, as we're about to talk about the Invictus Games, I thought this article was important. This is from June of 2021, and it came out saying that Harry's no special treatment claim was debunked. He said that he wasn't treated any differently than the other guys, but apparently that's already been debunked. In 2007, Harry was supposed to be deployed to Iraq, but his deployment was called off out of fears for his safety. Now, that wouldn't have happened to anybody else, but it happened to him. And then Harry threatened to quit the military. So the top brass, if you can imagine, sat down with him and said, we're going to make this happen for you, and they met with the Queen, who gets to decide actually whether he was going to be deployed or not. Could you imagine the Queen meeting with other senior officials because somebody said something? It just doesn't work that way. Now, very interesting. It's already been said and never denied that at some point the Taliban attacked his unit, and Harry, while everybody else went to fight, Harry was whisked off to an area of safety that was pre-arranged by the Queen, saying, if you're going to take him, there has to be someplace he can go in the event of an actual attack. NATO even said that Harry was never in any danger. Okay, so he had a safety net around him the entire time he was in the army. We've all seen the footage of him sitting playing video games in the bunker, and a lot of his co-workers or co-soldier people called him Bunker Harry because that was his safety area. All right, let's move on now. Now, here's our second story for today. Apparently, Meghan, we've already told you before, but let's cover it again. Meghan has now decided she's going with Harry to the Invictus Games. And of course, they're going to be followed by the Netflix crew. Now, Neil Sean said yesterday, or I think it was yesterday I read, that the only reason, and one of the reasons Meghan is going is because Harry is too afraid to travel by himself. And a news article even came out saying that. But I don't believe that. Let me tell you why I don't believe that. Because Harry flew back to the UK for his grandfather's funeral by himself, right? He flew to that polo match in Colorado or wherever it was by himself. He's just fine to travel by himself. That's not why Meghan is going. I don't agree with this article at all. Now, I do think they're going to try to turn this into a quote-unquote royal tour. Absolutely. They're going to expect, them to roll out the red carpet for them and then meet royalty. But here's where things get very interesting. I was watching that Trevor guy on YouTube the other day, and he said something very interesting. He claims that he heard from a source, and then he confirmed it with an upper level source, that Harry is getting a fee for appearing with the Invictus Games. So not only is he making money through Netflix and through Archewell for the Invictus Games, but yes, he's getting a fee. He's getting paid to show up to host the Invictus Games. Like, wow. Well, I love what this person above said. This person is apparently Dutch, and they're claiming that the Dutch are not happy. Now, I will say, and we've discussed this before, the biggest problem that Harry and Meghan did not anticipate, the biggest thing they didn't anticipate was that the world loves the Queen. And when they threw the Queen under the bus, they pissed people off all over the world. So I think they're going to go out there, and Meghan's going to bring multiple outfits, and they're going to try to outdo what William and Catherine did on their Caribbean tour. That's pretty much what I think, without the competition of the other people. I'm also read the article and heard, again, through Neil Sean, that the reason Harry did not return for his grandfather's service is because he was withholding the children because they wouldn't let Lily be baptized like Archie was. Now, I don't understand. They've been calling the family racist. They were horrible people. They didn't treat them right. So why in the world would you want to go back there to baptize your kid? I think they were hoping for a semblance of a royal tour, but as you can see, the king and queen have said they are not going to receive them. They are not going to let them stay at the palace either. You have to wonder if they were asked. No, seriously, I can totally see Harry and Meghan's reps calling up and going, well, this is Prince Harry. Do you mind if they stay at the palace? And I'm sure they said, no. Now, you know that when these articles come out, they're in Dutch, and I try to translate them for you. And as you can see, it says there's no royal visit for Harry and Meghan. So I guess the king and queen, who, by the way, were at Philip's Thanksgiving service, don't want to get involved and they don't want to see them. I don't blame them. Now, since these are so long and the first part is in Dutch and then the second part's in English, let me just translate for you. It says that Harry and Meghan are going to land in the Netherlands for the Invictus Games that are going to take place at The Hague. And it talks about, Harry is the founder, And it does say that the king will be present at the closing ceremony. But they cannot count on a royal reception, no audience with the king. They will not spend the night at any of the royal palaces. And in all likelihood, they will simply spend the night in a hotel. And they're saying they don't know if the kids are coming. But since they promised a big surprise, I'm guessing that's what the surprise is. And then, of course, it goes on to say, the usual stuff. This is the first time they've crossed the ocean together and how they didn't attend Prince Philip's memorial, and they're not participating in the Queen's Jubilee in June because Harry doesn't feel, quote unquote, safe enough, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you should know the article also says that usually the Dutch royals host the stay of foreign royalty, but they're not hosting them. Go figure. So here's my entire thought on it. Not only are they not going to disrespect Queen Elizabeth by having these two come over, they probably don't want to be filmed and end up in the Netflix documentary. And since we already know that Harry and Meghan went to meetings at the UN building where they were taping without people's knowledge, and then we found out later on Harry was wired, they can't trust that Harry and Meghan won't tape them surreptitiously and stick them in the documentary. I think what they're doing to protect themselves is very smart. So I digress. Going back to the Invictus Games, what you're going to see now are splices from my previous videos about the Invictus Games. So it looks a little choppy, but this should really explain to you what's going on. So watch this. So people were wondering how the Invictus Games came to be. And here's the backstory. In 2013, Harry went to watch the Warrior Games, which is a competition for wounded servicemen organized by the U.S. Department of Defense. And he was so inspired that he stole, and those are his words, he stole the idea, brought it back to the UK, and decided to come up with the Invictus Games. Now, Harry was really big on the Invictus Games. He called it his baby, but any way you look at it, he was nothing but a glorified cheerleader on the sidelines. After Harry signed his multi-million-dollar deal with Netflix, the Invictus Games got canceled. Now, he kept saying that it was not due to Netflix. He said that repeatedly. Keep in mind that the Invictus Games was going to be streamed on the Netflix rival streaming network, Amazon. Somebody for the Invictus Games said that the event was shelved because the primary revenue generator was ticket sales from a live concert in Los Angeles. Now, we all know that that could have been done virtually and tickets could have been sold virtually. It still could have worked, but it got shelved. So for all of Harry's moaning about it was really due to COVID, I think we all know better. So was I shocked that an announcement came out saying that the first Netflix series that's going to be unveiled is a docuseries about the Invictus Games? No, I was not shocked at all. But here's what it comes down to. They're using war heroes, kind of like, when he took the stroll through the cemetery, to make money to fund their lifestyle. They're using something that is already in existence instead of coming up with something new, because I think honestly they really weren't able to pitch any ideas that were accepted by Netflix. So should I be surprised that he is taking the hard work of these athletes and he's exploiting them for money? Does that surprise me? That he's monetizing injured servicemen? I can only hope that these people that are in this documentary sign some sort of a release. I have to tell you that Harry is going to appear in this documentary and is serving as the executive producer. I'm sure that's chapping Meghan's ass. She's the one who wanted to be the star. And since I'm an American citizen, I will be watching the Wounded Warriors Games, not the London Invictus Games. I think Harry and Meghan forget where they live now. Not to mention the fact that I dropped Netflix already like a bad habit. And for those who have suggested that he should have lost the Invictus Games, that was a private patronage. So it wasn't something the Queen could take from him, like she took the rugby football union and all of that stuff from him. In the end, Harry took something that he put together to help wounded soldiers, and he's turned it into a cash cow for himself. Why am I just not shocked by this? In the end, this is just another vanity project any way you look at it. And as I said before, I'm an American, and if they're trying to appeal to the American audience, they're going to have a problem because most people don't even know what the Invictus Games are. So this came out on Twitter, and as you can see, it says no trustee or connected person may, and then there's a list of things, and one of the things it says is basically is receive financial gain from the Invictus Games. Now notice right below where the finger is pointing, it says, unless the payment is permitted by Article 9.3, or of course if it's court ordered or ordered by the commission. So what does 9.3 say? So 9.3 says things like you can't enter into a contract for supply of services or goods, and you can supply the charity with goods that are not supplied in connection with the charity by the trustees, that kind of thing. But here's where it gets interesting. It would appear that there are no rules against his commercial exploitation of the Invictus Games because nobody ever considered a patron, a royal, which is an honorary position, would ever meddle in this sort of thing and make self-profit off of it. So there are no rules that he's breaking per se, But that's like, as Baroness Buck said, and I'm giving this woman full credit, as Baroness Buck said, you don't need rules saying the Queen and Prince Charles can't earn cash out of their patronages, because that's just ridiculous. They're there to raise money for the patronage, not line their pockets from the patronage. So I'm not sure how this whole thing is wrapped up. They are doing Archewell Production Company, but you know, the production company and the audio company are under the umbrella of the foundation. So, you know, they're talking about, oh, we're going to give a sizable donation to, you know, the Invictus games afterwards. But notice how they never tell you how much they're donating. I mean, if this makes $20 million, he might give $500,000 and keep the other $19 million in his pocket. So I stand by what I said. If Harry were to put out a statement that said that every single dime that was made was going towards the Invictus Games, I would be behind it 100%. I think these wounded warriors are some of the best people on earth, but I think it's horrible that Harry is lining his pockets off of their pain, their determination, and their work. So, once again, lots of information. What do you guys think about the tour that Camilla and Charles are going on? And what do you think is going to happen with the Invictus Games? Do you think these two are going to try to turn it into a royal tour and they're going to try to outdo William and Catherine? Because that's what I think is going to happen. Don't forget to leave those comments below. Don't forget to check the subscribe button and make sure you're still subscribed if you've already hit the button. And if you haven't, hit that button and subscribe. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Getter. You can follow me on Rumble. You can email me. To those who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.